Vegas is the place, and we're glad to have you in Vegas visiting us on the Mental Margarita Show. So, Deanna McRae King, owner and founder of Roots and Roots Wine Tours, and so much more. How are you today?
I'm doing well. And you, Rebecca?
Very well, thank you.
Great.
So, we're going to be exploring what you do. You host and conduct these tours all throughout the DC, Maryland, Virginia region, and beyond, as
Yeah.
we're discussing. In and out of the country. So this is really, really exciting to be able to share this with people, what you do. And we'll go back to the beginning a little bit. Now, you hail originally from Philadelphia, is that right?
Well, I was raised in Philadelphia. I'm originally from the island of Manhattan. I'm a New Yorker by birth. My mom's from upstate New York. I was born in New York City, where my parents were living at the time in the early 60s. And they lived down the Village area and Alphabet City, and then moved uptown to Central Park West. And so I went between Philadelphia and New York. My grandparents, paternal grandparents, were in Philadelphia. And when I was supposed to start school for kindergarten, the schools went on strike in New York. And so my grandparents ended up coming to get me for school. And I was the only grandchild at that point. Well, actually, my sister was born, but she was an infant. And so my grandparents ended up raising me as quite the princess, lucky me, in West Philadelphia, Cobbs Creek area near Yeadon and Upper Darby. So I actually grew up walking distance from Tina Fey, my claim to fame, and Will Smith. So
Wow.
um, few notables there from Philadelphia area. Went to Quaker schools, so I have a private school education, and believe me, we were not rich. I was on scholarship. Went to Lansdowne Friends and Friends Select, which is similar to Sidwell Friends in DC, where all of the president's kids go and whatnot. So had quite an amazing education, and probably like most kids, did not appreciate it at the time. But now I look back and I do a lot with the board of visitors for the school, and just celebrated 50 years of my elementary school in Lansdowne, Pennsylvania, too. And that was amazing. And so,
Wow.
yeah, that's kind of my background. Then I went to college in Massachusetts, University of Massachusetts, Amherst, and eventually graduated from University of Maryland, College Park. And that's when I moved to the DMV area, as we call it, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And I started this business in 2016. I incorporated. 2017 was my first tour. And it was really a result of having lived in California for a year, working at Warner Brothers and helping a friend of mine with her wine tour business that went up into Santa Barbara area and Solvang and Los Alamos, like in the movie Sideways. And I
Hmm.
remember riding on
It's
the
one of
bus.
our favorites.
Oh, yes, favorites. And I remember riding on that bus and thinking, wow, this is so beautiful riding up the PCH, but wouldn't it be amazing to do this in Virginia and bring people to the majestic Blue Ridge? Thought. And the winery we were visiting was Rideau Winery, which was the first Black woman-owned winery in the country. Iris Rideau, hailed from New Orleans, and it had a 1800s New Orleans theme. So again, that ingrained in my brain. When I moved back to Virginia in 2016, I went to sleep one night after watching a marathon of A Taste of History on PBS. A Taste of History is a culinary and history based program with host Walter Stabe, who's a German American. He used to be the owner of City Tavern in historic Philadelphia. It's where the first inaugural ball took place. It's where George Washington and Martha would have danced across celebrating his presidency. And he pairs all the culinary arts with 18th century history. Amazing program. So watched this marathon, went to sleep, woke up, and started shouting, "Fruits and Roots." And my husband said, "Fruits and Roots? What's that?" I said, "It's my new business." He said, "You have a new business?" I'm like, "I do. I've decided I'm going to combine all of my passions, my love of Virginia wine. I've actually been working in Virginia wine since 2005. I worked at Chrysalis Vineyards as a reserve wine tasting specialist. They're the largest producer of Norton wine in the world, and Norton happens to be like my favorite varietal of all. And I'm going to combine that with 18th century history, like on the show, A Taste of History. I'm a member of the DAR, Daughters of the American Revolution, which means I can trace my ancestry in this country to someone who served, or someone's, because there's quite a few of them, who served in the Revolutionary War in some way.
Wow.
Yes, and I traced this on my European side, but I'm now in the process of tracing it on my African side and proving that my 4 times great-grandmother, Della McRae, who was born enslaved in this country in the 18th century, was a patriot of this country. And so that's
Wow, that's
right?
fascinating.
That's the thing. So originally this was going to be a Black History tour. And a friend of mine who I grew up with my entire life said to me, don't do that. Don't limit yourself. Don't just make it about Black history. And I said, okay, I won't. I'm going to make it about women's history and people of color. So what I did was I said, we're going to go back to the 18th century. And on these tours, we're going to pair Virginia wine with 18th century history about the contributions that women and people of color made to founding this country. Because everyone knows about the founding fathers, right? We all
Mhm.
learned about the white men and what they did. But there were so many women involved in the revolution, and Native Americans and Africans free and enslaved, and no one knows their stories. Well, some people know them. They've been documented. They're buried in history. So I'm bringing that out on these tours, and I am seeking to end some of the divisiveness in the country by saying, hey, look how many other people were involved. At the end of the day,
Mhm.
we're all red, white, and blue. How about that? And
Right. Oh, that's awesome. That's
I
amazing.
love doing that. I love doing that. It's so powerful, I think, because you see the transformation in the faces. Now, sometimes you might get a sneer, right? Because we know there's people in our country that don't think about inclusion. They're not
Mhm.
concerned about inclusion, and maybe they just want to drink some wine. So I can kind of read them, and I know how to adjust when necessary. But guess what? They're the people who need to hear what I have to say. And I
Exactly.
make sure it's done in a fun and lighthearted and loving way, but it's serious stuff. And I want to make sure people know the real history of our country and who did what, right? So
Right. And so this is really cool. So if you don't mind,
yes,
because I read dozens and dozens of amazing 5-star reviews of your tours. And the one thing that I saw the most of is people saying how much they enjoyed the historical part of the tour. In addition, of course, to great wine and beer and bourbon and all the rest of it. So out of the history that you share, what's a favorite character that you could clue us into that we don't know about that we might discover
well,
on one of your tours?
right. Here's one that many people did know about, but most people don't. And I say many people know because there's a historical marker to this gentleman in New Kent County, Virginia. So during the American Revolution, there was an enslaved man named James Armistead. And James Armistead lived in New Kent County. He served the Armistead family, and it's not clear whether he asked to be a part of the Continental Army or it was very common in those days for owners, masters to say, hey, you slave, go serve for me in this war. You know, you be my stead, right? You're my proxy. So we don't know really which way it went for James. There's different historians have different points of view. But in any case, he served. And he served as a spy in Yorktown to the Cornwallis camp. So when the Brits were here and Cornwallis is running the show, James pretends to be a runaway slave serving Cornwallis, but he's actually listening, gathering intel, and taking it back to then General George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, and our favorite Frenchman, the Marquis de Lafayette. He was promised, James was, his manumission, his freedom, once we won the War of Independence, which of course we hoped to win, and we did in October of 1781 in Yorktown. He never got it. Surprise,
Mhm.
surprise, right? So a few years later, Here comes Lafayette to Richmond. He's in a big parade. James goes to the parade. The folklore is that Lafayette spots James in the crowd. Hey man, how you doing? So good to see you. Thank you for your service. How you doing? He says, well, I'm doing okay, Marquis, except I never received my freedom. So the Marquis de Lafayette writes a letter to now President George Washington. He secures James's freedom from the Armistead family. And to honor his benefactor, James changed his last name to Lafayette. So he becomes
Wow.
James Armistead Lafayette. He lives the remaining years of his life as a free man of color in New Kent County, Virginia, and descendants of his still live there today. I love that.
Wow.
Descendants of his still live there today. And that's the story of James Armistead Lafayette. And there is a rusted, so we have to assume it's been there a while. I need to look up what year it was placed, but there is a rusted historical marker to James right next to another very famous person from New Kent County, Virginia. And her name was Martha Dandridge Custis Washington, our
Wow.
first lady. So James is right there with Martha at this historic courthouse in New Kent. And I never knew anything about the man until I started this business and started researching. And I went to New Kent Winery one day. And from New Kent Winery, we followed around this historical path and we ended up at the courthouse. And there I read this marker about this incredible human being.
Wow. And
That's
there's
one of
so
my
many,
favorite
and
stories.
that's just one story of so many to be discovered. And
Sure.
that's the beauty of history and learning the rest of the story, the ones that they leave out of our books. Look at all the years we've been lied to about so many things. So it's wonderful that you can incorporate this into your tour and in what you do and sharing this. It's just a wealth of knowledge. And thank you for doing that because it's important for
It's a
women
pleasure.
and for people of all races everywhere to be
Yes.
able to be recognized for their contributions in so many
Yeah.
ways.
It's a
So,
labor of love, I'll tell you that. It's a labor of love, and I've even incorporated it with my new international spirit tours. So on those tours, we're visiting an international country, and it's the spirit of the nation, right? Not just the alcoholic spirit, beverage,
mhm,
but the spirit, the culture, the food, the people, the customs. What is it like to live as a local there? And still live as a tourist in the luxury, if you will, of a hotel or apartment style living, but experience the real food and understanding the impact of that nation on 18th century America, because there are ties. Example, our first one was to Barbados, the birthplace of rum. Well, when did rum start being exported? 1700s, 18th century. Was America involved in that? You bet your boots. Were women involved in that? Were people of color involved in that? Who do you think was working those sugarcane fields in Barbados?
mhm,
Yeah.
right.
We're able to tie all that in and just have an amazing time. One of the big socialization pieces of Barbados is they love karaoke. And so different nights of the week, different areas of the city for locals have karaoke. And of course, most of it's outside, right? Because, it's a tropical island. So that was so much fun to go to those different to experience life as a local. And what were those
Mhm,
different karaoke spots like? Some was like an after hours at 2 in the morning where they sell their beer and their drinks and they have the music and everything going. And some was earlier in the evening and you had some tourists visiting as well. So that was a lot of fun. So we got to do that as well as experience, of course, Mount Gay, the first distillery, a couple other places and venues within Barbados. We stayed at the Hilton. I'm sort of a Hilton's rewards whore, so I do a lot with Hilton and build up my rapport, my points and everything with them. And then you get a certain quality, of course, of stay by being at
mhm,
the Hilton. So that
right.
works and we get special pricing and it's, my tagline is we're all inclusive is all exclusive. So my tours are all inclusive. Now, the spirit tours internationally, that's a little gray area. It's not all the meals are included, but most. Airfare is not included. you know? Sometimes transportation from the airport is included, sometimes it's not, depends on the deal that I strike
Mhm.
up with the tour company that I'm using in country. But a lot of fun. We're doing bourbon tours. So Dollywood in the spring, we're going for a taste of the Smokies. So we're going to have wine, we're going to have moonshine, we're going to have bourbon, we're going to have whiskey. Going to experience the different things to taste in the beautiful Smoky Mountains. And we're staying at Dollywood, the Dream Resort and Spa. So lots of things to do there. We're going to attend the Hatfield and McCoy dinner show, which is the Hatfield and McCoy dinner feud, I think it's called. So
Oh,
that's,
how fun.
yeah, a famous thing we do there. We have one day that's a tour. We're gonna, have a shuttle to take us over the mountain to the casino in Cherokee for anybody who wants to visit the casino Saturday night. We have discount tickets to the park, to the Motown show. Um, just, just do it. You know what I do? I look at what I would like to do, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I would like to do that, and I don't mind telling my age. I'm 62, so I'm a little bit seasoned. I worked for British Telecom for many years in my career. I traveled all over the world. I experienced things, right, at different places, and I know what made travel good for me. And I wanna make that for my guests. So I think in the reviews you'll read the excellent customer service that the guests receive, because I really do think that's important, and I'm a stickler for it. When I have good customer service in a restaurant or venue, I make sure to let the management and/or ownership know about it. And if I don't have good service, I pull that person aside and I give them a little lesson.
Mhm.
I don't try to get people in trouble unless it's, like, really rude or something, but just say,
Right.
sometimes they just don't know. And
Mhm.
I just think that's so important for people to feel that their patronage is valued and that you really appreciate them as a human being and being a part of this experience. Because no one in the world is doing what we're doing at Fruits and Roots Wine Tours, right? So this is an experience. When you come on a tour with us, you have just signed up for an experience. And we want that to be a very memorable, wonderful, great. I mean, people are really knocked out by the time they're finished. They really are. I gotta say, we went to Scotland. We did the whole country. I had to text everyone, has everyone recovered yet? But we had such an amazing time. It was
And
a
that's
last
what it's
day
all about, like you said, the experience. And, you
experience.
know, you're very, detailed. People can visit your website, rootsandrootswinetours.com, and they can get the whole skinny on everything that they're going to enjoy, from breakfast, from starting off with a complimentary continental breakfast with mimosas and
Mimosa.
all the way to when they step back off the bus and return back to, after this day of amazing history and fun and socializing and meeting new friends. You may be in a group full of strangers and leave as, after finding some
Always.
new people to experience and enjoy. And that's the beauty of the work that you do, because you're bringing people together and creating memories,
So
and
true.
they're learning something. They get to escape for a little while and experience your world and what you have to offer. And it's just beautiful. And the fact that you're enjoying that. Our show's called Mental Margarita for a reason, because it's about
Love that name.
finding our passion and our escape. And it sounds like, this is the essence of what you do is, and you can just see it. It just glows from you how much you love and enjoy the work that you do. It's not really work. It's sharing this beautiful experience with people.
Yeah, it's a
And,
passion. I always told my kids, choose something you enjoy as work, so it won't be work, it won't be a chore. You'll love going to work every day, you know? That's what you wanna do. I mean, I wish I could do this full time. So, by the way, my education is an accountant, and, the reason I was working at British Telecom is I was, an international finance director for their shared services accounting division, mostly based in Chennai, India, but also with hubs around Eastern Europe and Asia Pac and Latin America and Canada, et cetera. And so I had oversight of all of that when I was at BT. And now I call myself semi-retired. I'm a corporate accounting manager for an insurance company in Virginia Beach, USI Insurance. And, you know, I love accounting because I am very detail oriented, right? So I do love that work, but this is my passion. And, I already told you my age. So, retirement is maybe 8 to 10 years or I might be working till I'm 90. I don't know. But whatever I do, I'll be doing this. I'll definitely be doing this.
Wonderful. And you have a number of tours. People can sign up for them right online. You
Yes.
have from the Route 151, that's the beer, bourbon, and distillery tours. A
Yes.
lot of great reviews on that one. That one sounds like fun. And then you've got a whole number of different wine tours from Monticello to North Virginia, Hampton Roads, Colonial Virginia. So, this is kind of the birth.
The
This
Waltons
is
is coming up.
in the Waltons Mountain.
Big hit. I love that. We actually have our lunch in the kitchen of Olivia's Airbnb, or not Airbnb, but B&B, which is the set of looks just like the TV show in there. And we sit
Wow.
on the table. We have a family style meal cooked by a woman down the street who has a dozen children, and the children carry the dishes up the road and bring it and place it for us to eat. And we have a Southern style, home style meal at the Waltons table. An experience. Met Richard Thomas there once, John Boy,
Wow.
and, I don't know if Richard Thomas made John Boy or John Boy made Richard Thomas, but what a gracious
Mhm.
human being, and if you've never seen that show, it's online, it's on Netflix, I think even. Check it out, it's a beautiful family show.
I think MeTV plays reruns,
Do they?
and TV Land, maybe even TV Land
TV
does too,
Land,
but
yeah.
you can see them regularly, on television. So it's nostalgic, and it's a part of many of us at different stages of our life watch that show, and, you get drawn into all the characters, and just as much as the Brady Bunch or any of those other TV families that we connected to,
And the
growing
life
up.
lessons, Rebecca, the life lessons, I think that should appeal to any generation at any time,
Yes.
which makes them timeless.
Mhm.
It's set in during the Depression and at the end of the 1920s, early 30s, and I think it goes up until 1960 before the final episode, or into the 1960s before the final episode. I portray, because I didn't mention that on my tours there are actors representing different historical characters, and on that tour I portray the real mother of Earl Hamner Jr., the creator of the Waltons, the original John Boy. I portray his mama, and her name was Doris Giannini Hamner. And believe it or not, they have ties to Virginia wine. Her two times great grandfather, Antonio Giannini, was one of the Italians that Thomas Jefferson brought from Italy to Virginia in 1773 to help him cultivate vines at Monticello. Of course, a little thing called the American Revolution got in their way, but that was the purpose of Antonio Giannini coming. And Thomas Jefferson was supposed to send him back to Italy, but he never did.
Wow.
And so therefore, we
So
have Earl Hamner Jr. and the Waltons.
how about that? And
Little known
and
historical fact.
right. And this being the birthplace of America, the oldest. So is this really the where it all started as far as American wineries? This.
Well, yes, because California would have been Mexico,
Mhm.
right? 18th century, we're talking. So Virginia is actually first in American wine.
Wow. All this, folks, you can learn this and so much more by taking one of Deanna's tours. And this is just amazing. So thank you so much for what you do. And again, folks, there's many to choose from depending on the time of year. You want to venture with them out of the country, you can do that as well. They've got some great plans, some great trips planned in the next year or two. And you have updates, on your website. You keep that
Yes.
current,
You can
everything
sign
that's
up
going
for our
on.
newsletter as well on the website.
And then how would you prefer people get in contact with you? Do you want them to visit the site and
Oh,
explore the
absolutely.
work?
Visit the site. You can call me directly. My number's out there. I'm no secret. 703-731-2957. If you want to talk to me, you can. You can email fruitsandrootswinetours@gmail.com. And of course, the website, fruitsandrootswinetours.com.
Wonderful. And I have one last question for you, Deanna. Like we said, the name of the show is called Mental Margarita. I'm pretty sure after this interview, we know what yours is. But what's your escape from it all? A favorite activity that kind of gets you away from it all and helps you find center?
Well, I love the water. You see the water in the background. So everywhere we go, I got to make sure we go to water. So I think this was Scotland. Oh, which is all the most beautiful. Scotland has got to be
Mm.
one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Got to say that. And you just water. Water really gives me energy. You know, I was living in the Virginia Beach area until very recently. I moved back to Northern Virginia, what they call the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia. Um, I just love water. And when I can go to a winery or a distillery that is
Mhm.
got a lake or a pond or is near the water there, and I have a water view and a mountain view as well, heaven.
That's beautiful, and you're right. It's very rejuvenating, and well, we're made up mostly of water, so you know, there's
Including
definitely
margaritas.
yes, yes, margaritas of all kinds. And we've got a special drink that we like at the Mental Margarita Show called a French 75, and that can be made with whiskey also, and it's a tasty champagne and whiskey cocktail. You should try it sometime if you haven't
I would
already.
love to. Maybe I'll serve that on my next tour, which is this Friday.
Yes, so definitely look that one up. I'll send you something to remind you. So we enjoyed having you on the show. Thank you, Deanna, so
Thank you
much.
for
And
having me.
Roots and Roots wine tours. So much fun in store. Combination of education and entertainment and more. So just folks, when you're visiting Virginia Beach or that just coming to the East Coast, make sure this is on your list of things to do.
Please.
So and we'll keep in touch for any updates and some fun trips that you have planned.
Thank you. And not just for Virginia Beach, because now we're, reinventing for this area, which is DC. So if you're in the Washington, DC area or Maryland near DC, whether it's Baltimore or Silver Spring or that area or anywhere in Northern Virginia, look us up. You're going to see a bunch of tours for 2025 that start from this area now.
Wonderful. And we'll try to make sure that we have people updated on our show as well, so that they know what they can sign up for coming up. So
Perfect.
awesome. Well, thank you, Deanna. You have a great, wonderful rest of your day, and we'll be in touch.
Great. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. So glad to have you with us today. Carmen
Thank you.
Marascalco, owner founder of the Blissful Mama Med Spa in Virginia Beach. And we're going to talk about some wonderful services that you provide to pregnant women, mothers to be, mothers that have just delivered. There's so many different benefits to therapeutic massage, and you're gonna educate us on that today. How are you, Carmen?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And you're part of this travel series we're doing on Virginia Beach, and there's the group of women that kind of get left out of the mix sometimes and don't get enough attention as pregnant women and mothers. And years ago you started doing this. Let's go back to the beginning. Where did it all begin? Before you moved to Virginia Beach and this became a profession for you. What was it like growing up? Where are you originally from?
So, I am originally from Louisiana and I grew up in a very large family. I'm one of six kids. And growing up, we were all very close. And I shared a room with my sisters. And going to sleep, we would rub each other's backs and play soft music and always kind of incorporated affection in our lives. And then when I was in high school, my brother played a lot of sports. And I kind of became his personal massage therapist after practices and games. He would come home and have me massage his back. And that's really truly where it began. And also like my dad rubbing our feet to help us relax at night. So I always understood what safe therapeutic touch was and how it really was great to just have in day-to-day life. And then I was able to really help my brother while he played sports. When I was a senior in high school, I did a science project on the health benefits of massage therapy. And I located a local massage therapist and asked her to take the blood pressure readings of clients before and after they got a massage. And the data showed how much it affected our blood pressure, which of course affects a lot of our health. And I ended up going to regionals with that. It was a really fun project to prove that. And this was back in 2003. So long before massage was even seen really as therapeutic benefit and was more seen as a luxury. Then when I was towards the end of my senior year and after doing that project, I shared with my father that I really didn't want to go to college. I wanted to pursue massage therapy and see what I could do to help people. And that's when he shared with me about the school here in Virginia Beach. He had heard about it, and it's called the Casey Riley School of Massotherapy in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And I came straight away. And so my professional experience with massage therapy began in 2004.
That's great.
Yeah, and from there,
I bet you got it on that project too.
I did. I aced that project for sure. And my teacher was actually quite impressed with it. She was like, this is a very unique science experiment. Let's see what you can do with it. And I blew some people out of the water. It was really cool.
And you've done hundreds of hours of training, a lot of specialty you've added to your certifications and things. And this, yet a key word a few minutes ago about safe therapeutic massage. And it's so fortunate that you had the experience that was positive in growing up, and you're able to teach that now as a therapist. You're able to demonstrate what that is. And we're built for touch, as human beings, and so many people lack that as they explore massage in a safe way and in a therapeutic way, and they can experience those healing benefits that you're talking about. Just the blood pressure alone. We live in a stressed out world. Technology and just the craziness and chaos just makes people on edge, stressed and tense all the time. So you not only provide, these services for people. What was the turning point where you specialized into helping pregnant mothers? I think you mentioned to me it was when you became a mother yourself.
Well, it actually began a little bit before that. Interestingly, so I graduated from massage school at the end of the year of 2004, and I was 19. And I went on and got a couple of other certifications in massage, like hot stones, essential oils. And then I did a prenatal massage training when I was 22. So prior to having my own children, I was already drawn to that. And when I got to finish that training certification and I got to work on a few pregnant moms, I really fell in love with it in those first massages where I got to have hands-on with them. And I literally could just feel how much relief and gratitude they had for just having somebody help them feel better during a time where you're mostly nauseous, your body aches come and go from all over the place as baby's growing within you, and all you're looking for is just an ounce of relief, and they were able to get a lot more than that. So that's when it truly began. I did have a little break from massage therapy, and I pursued yoga and breath work and meditation, and I even focused on prenatal yoga and breath work and meditation. So then when I went on to have my own family, I was able to apply those things for myself during my pregnancies and postpartum. And it was after that I realized I truly wanted to pursue this completely, wholeheartedly with my own specific business.
That's great. And there was a few services as I was looking through your website, which is full of information, the blissfulmama.biz. We'll make sure the audience has a chance to be able to go there and research and look around and see what you offer. Let's talk about the breath work. You have a couple, you have an induction package, which I want to talk about that because it was kind of fascinating to me. And then this mind, body, and energy reset, where you combine all of those things you just talked about. So can you just give us a little overview of that?
Sure, absolutely. So I created the mind body energy reset after moms would come to me and they would get 75 or 90-minute prenatal massage or postnatal. And they just were like, can we do a little bit more? I need a little bit more attention with my energy and also just a little bit more relief with breath work. And so I created the mind body energy reset where it actually incorporates massage, Reiki, which is energy work, guided meditation, and extra reflexology. And it's an hour and 45 minutes. It's the longest session that I offer. And I've had clients who are pregnant come and receive it and absolutely love it. And I've also had moms postpartum come and receive it. So it's really for anybody that needs just a little bit more than massage. And so throughout the session, we begin with me already just instantly when my hands are on their head, neck, and shoulders, instantly working on getting them to tune into their breath, tune into their body, come fully present to this moment, and let the busy, crazy world just be outside for the next hour and 45 minutes. So I'm able to get them to really just be as present with themselves as possible. And that alone helps their nervous system reset, and it helps their mind follow, which just softens all of the edges. And then whenever I do get to about halfway through it, moms are usually asleep. And then that's when I'll apply light touch energy work. And it really is just channeling high frequency love and energy. And then towards the end of it, I'm able to give them some extra reflexology, really help their feet get that extra relief with specific pressure points. And that can actually really relax the entire mind and body by just focusing on the feet. So that's why I wanted to add an extra component of spending some more time down there.
That's great. And there's so many pressure points and things all over the body that all they need is attention. And we can feel so much better in minutes. So, thank you for doing this wonderful work. And
Thank you.
And for educating us on this, because it's important. And some people might be a little nervous about trying something. You've got some great resources on your site, things to prepare for before you come for your visit. Things about safety. Is it safe? Of course you want to check with your doctor first. But you have some really valuable information to put people's mind at ease, because it is a scary time, especially maybe a first time mom, and she wants to do everything right. And, so you really, you're so knowledgeable. So, definitely folks, check out the frequently asked questions and everything that Carmen has to share, because this will help you as you prepare to try something new. And we want people to do that on our show. We encourage them to learn and do things that are great for their living. So, this is great. Now the induction package, you've got women that may be close to delivery time. How does what you do help move this along?
Absolutely. So the induction package is a 90-minute body session. And that's also where I incorporate some guided breath work and guided meditation. But most importantly, two big components that I add into that session that makes it unique is I have a special essential oil blend that has clary sage, evening primrose, lavender, geranium, and chamomile. And I have a local aromatherapist blend those specifically, so I know that all of the quantities are very safe for pregnant mamas. And what it does is it's very deep hormonal grounding essential oil blend and very soothing for their nervous system. And those oils have also been known to help relax them so deeply that the uterus can get activated to then begin the process of labor. Now, I don't give any guarantees. And a lot of it is I tell moms, you're about to go through the threshold of becoming a mom, and you're about to go through something very, very intense for your body, mind, and your energy when you're having your baby. And this is a time when I get to pour completely into you before you have that marathon of delivery, right? And so just coming in and allowing somebody to take care of you in all of those ways, with the oils, with releasing the soft tissue, with applying pressure to very specific pressure points, all the points that we avoid avoid up until your 39 weeks. And then also I like to guide them through a wave like breath work that helps them shift the energy from the thinking mind, all the prepping and planning they've done, and even the worrying for the first 9 months. And then it's time to shift that energy down towards baby and the pelvis and the womb, and to help them really ground their energy. And I feel like when moms can tap into that, and I hold that space and I give those encouraging, encouraging like leads into that, that's when moms can really get into a different level and connection with their baby. And when they tap into that piece, that's what I feel like really can attribute towards it encouraging labor to come. And another piece to that is helping them with positive mantras. And so in the guided meditation, we're not only focusing on the wave of the breath, which is going to be similar to the wave of our contractions, but I'm also planting the seeds of, I trust my body, I trust my breath, I trust my baby, I trust the timing of my baby's birth. Because as you know, it can be that's probably the most stressful part, is we're like, we just don't know when this is going to happen. We know it's going to be a huge experience. And so the nervousness around not knowing when, that's when we can just come back to that. And whenever they leave, they actually get to take a roller bottle of the essential oil with them. I also send them pictures of the pressure points that I hold so that they can continue the work once they go home, and they can involve their partner, which I feel like is really essential to help them connect before baby comes.
Oh, that's great. And that's wonderful. And let's talk about, you have a whole list of essential oils on your site that are safe, and I'm sure they all have different uses. Now, I'm hearing, with the transfer of energy and the calming, this sounds like thousands of years of trusted holistic medicine and natural medicine. Um, Culturally, can you give us a little background on that? Because I'm feeling like this has kind of been a part of the earth and this birthing process for many, many years.
Well, it does go back to ancient times, right? And using essential oils from the earth to assist our body in many different ways. And I just happen to work closely with the aromatherapist that has the expertise on that. And so she's able to create these products to ensure that they're safe for prenatal and postnatal. And these are literally gifts from the earth that are all natural. And a lot of moms, that's what they're seeking. They want to know that it's safe for them and baby, and that it's in the right quantities. And I would say, yes, energy work, breath work, essential oils, and even sound and frequencies, which I like to include in our sessions as well. These go back thousands of years. I mean, there was a time, when hospitals didn't exist, OBGYNs didn't exist, and it was your tribe midwife that helped you bring the baby into the world. And I simply am just trying to go back and pull some of those modalities in to give them comfort and to give them that security and knowing that it's safe. But these are things women have been using for a long, long time to assist them during this. So I do see a huge wave of women that are wanting to have more natural experiences. And this is my way to be able to bring that to them.
That's great. And you have some products. Let's talk about that for a minute. I saw belly butter. I saw magnesium a lot. Explain the benefit of magnesium and why that's important.
Okay, so when I was pregnant, I'll give you a little bit of history and how I got introduced to magnesium first, because this is where it really changed my life. When I was pregnant with my second son in 2006, no, not 2006, 2016, I was having a hard time sleeping because we get that prenatal insomnia, or we get woken up in the middle of the night because we have to go to the bathroom, or we're hungry and then we have a hard time falling back asleep, or just plain simply our nervous system is completely overwhelmed with pregnancy and life. And so my sister actually gifted me a jar of magnesium foot cream, and I had never heard of it before, and I gave it a try. and it really helped me. So that was the first experience I had with it, was helping with sleep. It can really get into our nervous system and help calm the nervous system enough where it soothes us into a more sleep sedative state. And it's very gentle. And this is all applied transdermally, so through the skin, which has actually been proven to be one of the top ways to get magnesium into our body. And so I did it on my feet. I used it on my feet and had a great success with that. And then as I noticed other areas where my hips were aching, my low back was hurting, my shoulders were getting really tense, I started applying it to the other areas, and I discovered how much that it soothed my achy muscles and joints. So when I first opened at the end of 2020, and I had moms bringing these things back up, I had a light bulb moment. Oh yeah, the magnesium cream really helped me. So that's when I also reached out to Martika, who has the aromatherapy shop. And I said, can you make me a magnesium product that is calm and soothing? It's easily absorbed into the skin. And I wanted it to be in a pump bottle so that the product and the oils were preserved as long as possible. And it's also just easier to apply instead of dipping our fingers into a jar. And also portion control. You tend to overuse when you have to dip out of a jar as opposed to doing a few pumps. So this is where she created this product for me. And we have the blue bottle is the Blissful Mama Magnesium Cream. It is with lavender and chamomile essential oils. It has about 30% magnesium oil included in the recipe. And that way it's safely blended. I did notice that a lot of moms were like, oh yeah, I got some magnesium cream or magnesium oil off of Amazon, and I just put that on my feet. But I noticed that it kind of is a little intense, or it's too greasy. It seems too strong for my children. And that's why I had this blend made, was so that it was safely diluted and better for children and mamas. So the most favorite one is this one. And this is something I use myself every night on my feet and on my children's feet. And it's just such a great blend of lavender and chamomile, very relaxing and soothing. The other magnesium product I have is what I call my brown bottle magnesium. And this one has stronger therapeutic oils in it. And it's the magnesium muscle and joint cream. And so this is for anybody that isn't pregnant, isn't breastfeeding. Say mom is in her second year of motherhood and she is starting to work out, or she just notices her body's still aching in certain areas and she needs something a little bit stronger, then that's where I would suggest this one. And this is great for like daytime use. And what I like to do with this one is apply this on my achy muscles and joints, and then I put this one on my feet to help with sleep.
And anybody can use that, really.
Yes,
Okay,
anybody can use.
So I like the fact that you talk about putting it on your kids' feet too, because sadly I see melatonin gummies and all these things to go to sleep. And melatonin I know is natural and is safe. Of course, everything has to be in moderation and used properly. You can also have too much of something too. So
It's very
think
true.
this is really cool, and more people should know, especially for our young little ones, that there's other safe alternatives and things for them. Seeing ZQuil and all this other stuff on the market and things. So we can't always be so quick to ingest things into our body. We have to be careful.
And we never really know how much our body is absorbing when we ingest them. And so again, that's why I feel like the magnesium creams, if you have an achy muscle or joint, or if you're having a hard time sleeping, you can literally put it right on the area and you're gonna have the relief. My boys are 7 and 11, and they've been exposed to essential oils since they were in my body, right? Since I was growing them. So I actually use the brown bottle magnesium muscle and joint cream on them because they're going through growing pains. They have a lot of growing to do. Their dad is 6'2", and they have a lot of stretching and growing ahead of them. And so anytime their knees, their ankles, their feet, their shins, their back is hurting them, I put this on them, and literally within 5 to 10 minutes, their pain is gone. And wow. I just love that as an alternative to them taking Tylenol or something like that. And I love the fact that I can give them that instant relief, because honestly, kids struggle with pain, you know, and then also tolerance of pain. So the fact that it acts so quickly in their body, I just absolutely love it. So I do tell moms, even after a pregnancy, hold on to this. If your baby even is feeling fussy or gassy, you can put it on their belly, you can put it on their feet, and it's completely safe for them. I have a lot of moms that are like, my kids love it. It's a part of their bedtime routine. Even if we travel, we have to take it with us. Another thing that I want to add about the brown bottle, the muscle and joint magnesium cream, is that my parents who are in their 70s and have degenerative joint disease use this on the regular to help with their arthritis and their achy joints. So honestly, anybody can benefit from these products.
Wow. And so what does a bottle like that cost? So someone could essentially call you up and order one from you, right?
Absolutely. These are $22 each. It's a 4-ounce bottle. And it actually lasts quite a while. Because of it being in the pump bottle and it helps with portion control, a little bit goes a long way. And I'm always happy to ship.
That's great. Thank you. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely.
And there was just a couple little techniques with massage that I just want to ask about that are kind of trending, and the cupping therapy was one of them. So cupping therapy that draws, it uses suction, right? It draws all the blood flow to one specific area.
It does. So the cupping that I am trained in is with the silicone cups. I don't do fire cupping. And actually, fire cupping is a contraindication for prenatal moms because of using the heat, and it's an intenser form of cupping. So I got trained in the silicone cups. There's 3 different sizes, and it is that amazing decompression therapy. So there comes a point where, you know, somebody's pushing on a knot or tight tissue, and you're just trying to work it out and it's not budging. If a client likes medium to deeper work, then I suggest let's just try a little bit of cupping. So I'll place a silicone cup on that area, and it pulls the tissue, the skin, and the fascia away from the body. It pulls the circulation through the tissue, and that's when you'll start to notice where it has the color showing up, which we call patika, and it comes in different shades depending on the circulation, the hydration, and how bound up that tissue was. And I like to leave them on there from 5, 7, 8 minutes. We don't leave them on super long. And once you release the cup, it's like a pressure relief valve has been opened, and it's extremely, I'm trying to think of the word, relieving, honestly, because when you have that constant tug and pull, say in your shoulder area, and then you're able to have the cup on there and you pull it off, then it's like there's more freedom and movement in the tissue.
Hot stones.
Mm-hmm.
Benefit of that, heat therapy.
Yes. So I have a wonderful set of hot stones. They're actually the original set that I got when I first got trained. It was the first continuing education course that I took after I graduated. I personally love warmth and heat when I'm getting massaged, and it was something that I knew I wanted to offer clients. So I actually include that in every single session. All of my modalities are optional, but they are included in the price. And so if you want to come in and have the essential oils and have the hot stones, have the cupping, I'm happy to include it all, or you can pick and choose. The hot stones are just really, really soothing for the tissue and essentially the nervous system. There's nothing like having nice warm oil and a warm stone rubbed over any tight, tense areas. And especially for moms, the upper back, the neck and shoulders. When you're pregnant, I only use it on the upper body. We're very careful with any type of heat or pressure on the legs. And that's just to be careful of varicose veins and any type of clotting that can happen. When a mom comes in for postpartum or the postnatal massage, that's when I'll do a full body hot stone massage. And that just allows any areas that are really extra tense and tight from head to toe to be relieved with the warmth of the stones. And we go really, really slow. And it is just one of those very deep relaxation sessions.
And there's another tip that you have for folks before they schedule their appointment, before they come in, to make sure to drink plenty of water. So is there something that water does besides, helping pump up our circulation and helping our blood flow better? Is that one of the main reasons, or is there more?
That is one of the main reasons. When we get into working into the tissue and releasing the bound up areas, that is releasing lactic acid and any other toxins that might have built up into the joints and the tissue. And so I just really want moms to feel nice and hydrated. Sometimes if you aren't hydrated and you come in for a massage and the body doesn't have a way to process it out, like through going to the bathroom, then that's when we can start to have headaches, or the next day we feel extra sore from the massage. So I found that if moms hydrate really well prior, and then especially hydrate really well afterwards, then that helps eliminate the possibility of a headache, and it helps them release any of that was built up.
Great to know. And that's for anybody going for a massage and any therapeutic work. So keep that in mind, folks. And I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
The name of the show is called Mental Margarita for a reason. It's about finding our escape and living our best life and finding our center. What's your go-to on a busy day, or when you need to kind of get away from it all? It could be a fun activity. It could be kind of a relaxing thing. What's yours? Mental Margarita.
I have a long list, honestly. It kind of depends on the day and what time I have. So I do live at the beach. One of my absolute favorite things for my own like mental margarita recipe is to go to the bay and to look for sea glass. And it is just really amazing to feel the sun on my skin, to have the water at my feet. And it's like kind of a little treasure hunt to see what the universe has left for me. And I have this really amazing spot where every time I go, I find at least 3 or 4 pieces of sea glass. And so that's one of my favorite things. I also love a bike ride. I get massages every 2 weeks. That is an absolute staple for me, because if I'm pouring into moms this much, I have to make sure that I'm receiving that as well. And then for something that's just like super quick that I love to share with moms is having your favorite essential oil that helps you feel calm and centered, closing your eyes, taking a few deep breaths of that, tuning into your body, tuning into your breath, even if it's just for 3 to 5 minutes. If you can add that when you're waiting in the car at the pickup line, or we're standing at the sink before you do the dishes, or anything like that, I really encourage moms to make sure that they give themselves those mental timeouts.
That's great. And we all need to be able to observe that and practice that on a regular basis too.
Exactly.
Well, we thank you so much for being on the show and for educating us on so many different things, and for providing these services. So when people come to Virginia Beach, they can come and see you in person. They're planning their trip. Make sure that Carmen's Med Spa is one of your stops on your list for a time of relaxation, rejuvenation, and self-care. And how do you want people to follow you and get in touch with you? What's the best way?
So one of the best ways is to follow me on Instagram, and it is the Blissful Mama. It's the_blissful_mama. And then the other way is to just reach out personally. My personal number is on my website at theblissfulmama.biz. They can call me or text me. And then also you can find me by doing a Google search. I really loved this summer. I had several moms that were coming here on vacation, and they searched prenatal massage near the ocean front, because I'm only about 10 minutes away from the ocean front. And they were able to come in on their vacation and really get the treatment that they deserved. So there's multiple ways: Instagram, website, and just reach out personally. I'm here to help you.
Great. Well, thank you, Carmen, so much. It was so wonderful meeting you and getting to hear all these wonderful things. And we'll stay tuned for any updates. And definitely, folks, grab some of that magnesium cream. I think that's on my list now, too. So So we have Emily Smicker with us. Welcome to the Metal Margarita Show. What is new at the Virginia Zoo? Emily, we're so happy that you're on with us to tell us all the wonderful things going on when we come to Virginia Beach area. Now you're in Norfolk, is that right?
That's right, but it's only a little like 20 minutes away from Virginia Beach, not too far at all.
And there is nothing more fun and exciting than a day at the zoo.
That is for sure. I mean, that's why I chose a job here. I mean, I get to come here every day. You can't knock that, right?
Awesome. And you're going to share with us some updates. We're going to talk about and remind people the wonderful work that our local zoos do all over the US and all over the world in conservation and saving animals from extinction and just a number of things. But let's talk about this beautiful background we're looking at. It's a new exhibit. What is this one called?
Yes. Well, welcome. We're so excited to be here. So right now I am standing in our newest habitat, and we call this Turtle Oasis. As you can see behind me, it is quite a peaceful environment. People are loving it. So this habitat opened about last fall. So it's still one of our more recent ones. And it's actually a partnership that we have that really furthers our mission. And here at the Virginia Zoo, our mission is to connect our community to saving wildlife and the ecosystems around them. So we have a few different species of turtles in this exhibit. We have Blanding's turtles, we have wood turtles, we have spotted turtles, and alligator snapping turtles, all which are native turtles to the United States, mostly on the East Coast as well. And it's in partnership with, these are all confiscated or rescued turtles. So these animals came to us from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So we were able to help them as they had rescued them and from confiscation. And a couple of them were donated to us as well. And we were able to put them back in a multi-species habitat. There is some separation, of course, to protect some of the smaller ones. And we are continuing to work with other local and regional turtle conservation organizations like the Turtle Survival Alliance to continue to grow this area and make sure that those animals that are coming from a negative environment are coming to a positive one where they can teach other people and be ambassadors to their species.
Oh, that's wonderful and peaceful it is. And, on the West Coast where we are in Las Vegas, we protect our desert tortoise. So that is one of our favorite mascots of the desert. And to remember to give them space, even the U.S. military will put a soldier on guard to guard a desert tortoise if need be. So we take that very seriously as well. And thank you for calling attention to that and reminding us how important it is. And, when people come to the zoo, they're going to experience a lot of different things. You have almost a dozen different gardens just for people to enjoy as they're walking through. Depending on if it's cool or warm, you can get out of the sun. You can enjoy the sun. You can choose where you want to sit and rest and enjoy the animals. But you have some other habitats and exhibits as well. We visit Africa and Asia. Can you tell us a little bit what we'll experience when we see those places?
Absolutely. I would love to. Like you said, there's such a variety of experiences here at the zoo. There's literally something for everyone. Animal lovers, whether you're a mammal lover, a reptile lover, bird lover. We have beautiful gardens and educational opportunities. But when you go to Asia and Africa, let's talk about them a little bit. So one of our highlights right now is in our Asia Trail of the Tiger area. So this features a bunch of species from throughout Asia. On this trail, you'll be able to meet animals like a red panda, a Malayan tapir. You'll get to read a rhino hornbill or a cassowary, which is really cool. And on top of that, we have our newest member of the zoo family, was just born in June, is our Bornean orangutan baby named Poppy. And she is the star of the show these days. And these orangutans are critically endangered species. So she is whenever we have a baby, it's such a great opportunity. People, of course, want to come see the little cuties, but it's an opportunity for them to learn how important this birth is to the survival and continuation of the species, as well as learn about why we should participate and how we can participate in the conservation of these animals and their habitats.
That's wonderful, and it is fun. I finished growing up in Southern California. We had an annual pass to San Diego Zoo, San Diego Wild Animal Park, and I remember waiting as a kid in line for several hours to see the baby panda that was born. So, it is very exciting, and when we have a chance to experience nature and our animals, and it renews the respect that we have for them and alive. So, it's so important, and I can't wait to come visit and see all the animals there. I've never had a bad day at the zoo. It's always exciting and something new. You've got shows too. You have a stage where they have a show as well.
Absolutely. Well, we can't wait to have you, first of all. So anytime you're around, let us know. We do so much programming here, which is really special and something I've really loved. I've been at the zoo for a little over a year now, and has been one of my favorite parts of being at the zoo is the programming that we do. Like you said, we have the Zoo Live stage, where we have trained keepers and educators who will handle our animal ambassadors. And these animals are animals that have to be trained or able to be handled. And a lot of times they are local or regional wildlife that have been rehabilitated or can't be reintroduced into the wild. But instead, they have a very important job, and that is to meet our guests, be able to see them up close and personal, and to learn about these animals and their cousins in the wild and species like them. So these shows are awesome. We have everything from birds of prey, where you can meet a Eurasian owl, you can meet a hawk. We also have a prehensile porcupine, a Virginia possum, reptiles, different insect species as well. It is so cool. And we guarantee when you come, if you stop at a Zoo Live stage, or even sometimes when you're out on the trails, you might meet a keeper or an educator, where you'll get to learn a little bit about each of these animals.
That's fun. And then I saw that there's also a way to even get further into the zoo experience. You have a behind the scenes tour as well.
Oh, we certainly do. Our behind the scenes tours are so much fun, and you learn such incredible stuff while you're on them. We have a lot of different options depending on the season. You can do everything from feed a giraffe to pet a rhino. You can also, meet a sloth or learn how to train some birds of prey or animal ambassadors. You can meet a Malayan tapir and feed them. So many different options. We have some new ones that are going to be debuting. I think we have a new one that will be debuting this winter that we're really excited to start doing with our Eastern bongo. So many fun options if you want a little bit more personalized and private experience here.
That's wonderful. And then for those that are interested in pursuing a career in zookeeping and having a little bit more hands-on, you have an internship program as well.
We certainly do. Right now it is closed, but if you go on virginiazoo.org, we have all types of zookeeping internships available there. And that we do that, I believe it's annually, and you can work in different areas and kind of, get that opportunity to learn if it's something for you. Zoo careers are really special no matter what industry we go into, or which department we go into, but zookeeping is a really, really special job. And we are so grateful for our zookeepers here. It's a tough job. It's a tough job, and more than just a physically demanding job, but it's also very emotionally taxing. And you have to be very mentally stimulated and learn about your animals and bond with these animals and make sure that you are caring for each and every animal, let alone species, to their specific needs. It is such a rewarding job. Highly, highly encourage anyone who's interested in that industry to check it out. And an internship's a great way to do it.
That's wonderful. And the Virginia Zoo has been a mainstay there. You're attached to, is it Lafayette Park?
Yes, we are actually, our property is physically owned by the city of Norfolk. So we are attached to Lafayette Park here. We have been here a very long time. And then we are also a partnership between the city of Norfolk and our nonprofit sector, which is the Virginia Zoological Society, which the things like the behind the scenes tours, the education program, part of admission, special events, all of that revenue is fundraising that goes back to that nonprofit sector that really, really pushes forward, that goes towards conservation. It goes towards different enrichment items and furthering education and opportunities for keepers. There are so many different opportunities that we are able to do with the partnership between the city and the society.
That's great. And what a great offering for the community. Over 100 years, I read that you have been there since around 1900.
That's,
and
yep.
53 acres. That's really a nice amount. It's a great workout, a great walk. We like to encourage our audience to be active and get out and do stuff and move around. So what a great way to do that, to come to the zoo.
Absolutely. Our 53 acres are beautiful. Nice thing too is they're relatively flat. So, you know, it's not too hard on you, but it's a great way to get those steps in. I always encourage young adults as well as older adults. Like, a lot of people think of zoos as just a place for family or people with kids, but it's a great place for adults to come and hang out, to get your activity in for the day while also really being able to enjoy your surroundings or learn something new or see something different every day.
It can be a great date idea.
It is a great date idea. We've seen a lot of young couples come in and do that. And we have events that tailor to that as well. It's such a great thing. And you know that you're also giving back. You're giving back to the animals that you're visiting. You're giving back to greater wildlife conservation action. So you're not just having a great time, you're also making a difference in the world.
Fun. And folks, remember the zoo as an option for a party, birthday party events. You can book and reserve space again to have a little bit more intimate experience. So, you know, family reunions, it's fun for all ages. What can be found at the Discovery Zone, the nature discovery?
Yes, that's a lot of fun for our kids in our groups. So our Run Wild Discovery Zone is what we call a nature play playground. So everything in that area is primarily made out of natural materials, encouraging kids to interact with the world around them and learn how that they can play with different elements that you can find in your own backyard. So we have different kind of stumps that can be like balance beams. We have sandbox, we have a bamboo maze, all kinds of fun things. It's always changing over there. So we're always trying to update it and make it better and give kids more things to interact with. And it also prevents our contribution to plastic waste that could come from different other materials that are usually seen in playgrounds.
That's great to mention. And folks, just remember, turtles don't know the difference between trash or a flower. So, you know, the animals, it's up to us to be responsible and protect them from harm.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
now people can join your zoo. Especially for locals, this is great to make this like an annual visit and always see what's happening. Those that want to give to the work you're doing can give online. Is that right? They can donate directly.
Absolutely. We make it very easy. virginiazoo.org is going to be your best friend to learn everything about the zoo. So we have lots of fun ways to get involved. We have memberships, like you said, with all different options in there. And like we said, a lot of times, if you have a family of 4, that membership is paid off within less than 3 visits. So if you come just a couple times a year, totally worth it. That also has a portion of proceeds that goes to conservation as well. And then, like you said, donations. Donations are huge for what keeps us going. What makes habitats like these possible? A lot of our exhibits are built based upon the donations that we get. You can go to virginiazoo.org, click the donate at the top right corner, and there's a bunch of different options you can give to it, including our new capital campaign, which is going to be pretty big over the next 2 years and create a couple new spaces on site for some of our existing animals and some new species we'll be bringing in as well.
That's great. Well, you know, so was this love of animals in the zoo? Is that something that you grew up kind of started when you were a kid?
Yes, it was instilled in me pretty early on. I grew up in northern Pennsylvania, kind of out in the country. I was lucky to have family that also was very interested in wildlife. So that was instilled at me from very young. I actually growing up wanted to be a veterinarian, but as soon as I started going to school, realized I wasn't so great at the science portion, which is okay because I was really great at the communications, the PR, the marketing, visual arts, and ended up as I went through my career, I actually joined the zoo later in my career. About 5 years ago is when I had already been 15 years into my career before I even found the zoos. And when I did, it was a happy accident. And when I joined it, there was no going back. It was exactly marrying that passion that I had grown up with and love for animals and my talents and skills in my career, and putting that together to really make an impact for something I care very deeply about, as well as our environments and the species that live in them. There are so many wonderful ways to get involved with zoos and aquariums if you're interested, and maybe you aren't cut out for zookeeping or veterinary work. That's okay. We have educators, we have guest services, we have events, we have restaurant staff, we have janitorial staff. Every single person who works at a zoo is so vital to making the experience worth it, bringing people in to learn and continue that mission of caring about wildlife.
That's wonderful. And you can hear it in your voice how much you enjoy that environment that you work in. And that's what our show's about. It's called Mental Margarita for a reason. People finding their passion and their joy and having the best life experience. So it's also finding your escape and your getaway from the busy and craziness of life. So it looks like you found your mental margarita there at the zoo. But what's your go-to? If you're having a really busy day and you just kind of need to get away from it all, what's your go-to?
I love that question. I very much am a believer in finding a career that brings you passion if you have that luxury. And I am very blessed to have that. My go-to, I always tell my team and my coworkers, instead of taking a coffee break, I go take an animal break, whenever you need, you're having a stressful day. I mean, things still get hard sometimes, right? We're working with animals and that can be a little stressful sometimes. So what I usually like to do is I will go call up my friends who work over in the Africa area, and I will go pet some rhinos. That has been my heart and soul. Rhinos are the ones who really changed my life and my viewpoint of what I was supposed to do in the world. So I am lucky. And if I have the opportunity, I'll go down and either pet them. If I don't, I actually do stop over here at Turtle Oasis. It's just so quiet and tranquil. Reminds me what we do and why we do it. As well as I just love reptiles, and turtles are so interesting. Many people will overlook them. But when you stop and you observe them and interact with them, you realize how distinctive each of their personalities are. And it's so fun to be able to just enjoy that and take a moment and then head back to the office with some brand new inspiration.
That's wonderful. And thank you so much for sharing that with us, Emily, and for being on the show and letting us have a little glimpse into your world and into the world of the Virginia Zoo. We're looking forward to, this is part of a travel series featuring Virginia Beach, people coming to the area, supporting local business, supporting our local nonprofits. So we can't wait for them to meet you through the show and to be able to come and visit in person. And remember, folks, everything you need to know about visiting the zoo, you can find at virginiazoo.org. So if you're not able to come in person, then send a donation and help the cause and help support animal conservation and saving species from extinction.
Well, yeah, that would be great. Or follow us on social media. It's a great way, just spreading the word and helping us get the word out there. We have Facebook and Instagram. Was a great way to get involved with us. And thank you so much for having us. We can't wait to see you guys. If you see me out on the grounds, make sure to stop me and say hello. Don't be shy. I'll share with you some fun facts around some of my favorite animals here. I always love doing that. Give you some tips and tricks. And we really can't wait to see you. I can't wait for you to enjoy Hampton Roads when you come visit Virginia Beach. We have some incredible places around here. Make sure that you're stopping to not just visit us, but visit all of our partners like the aquarium, the Chrysler Museum, all kinds of great opportunities, the botanical gardens, something for everybody around here.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Emily. You have a beautiful day. It looks like you already have a head start on that. And we'll be checking in for any updates. And I'm sure there's going to be something new buzzing at the zoo, and we'll stay in touch.
Oh, that sounds great. I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye now.
Live, interactive, family-friendly shows. Welcome to Family Fun Experience Theater. What can you expect? Well, game shows, family comedy, swashbuckling farces, holiday extravaganzas, birthday parties plus superheroes, sci-fi and musical special. Expect something new and fun every week year-round. Relaxing, comfortable couch seating with views overlooking the Virginia Beach oceanfront with plenty of fun snacks and drinks to enjoy. FFX's unique brand of family-friendly fun has the whole audience playing along from kids and teens to grandma and gramps. No kids? No problem. Whatever your age, our middle name is FUN. So what are you waiting for? Head over to ffxshow.org and get your tickets right now.
If you're looking for a one-stop shop for all your skateboarding needs, look no further than Karma Longboards and Skate Shop. We carry a wide range of skateboards, longboards, cruisers, and accessories from top brands, as well as skateboarding apparel. Don't leave without seeing our talented henna tattoo artist ready to add that special design to mark your visit to the beach. We offer good vibes, smiling faces, and great prices. Karma is located at 1704A Atlantic Avenue in Virginia Beach, Virginia. For more information, visit karmaskateshop.com or call 757-470-9396. That's 757-470-9396.